Guys, let me share my screen here and we're going to kick it off. We're going to go right into it. So you guys can see my screen here. Should be able to.
Yep, we're all good.
All right, beautiful. Okay, so guys, this is where everything gets pieced together, right? This is a deal cycle, right? If you guys haven't noticed, when we started 6 weeks ago, literally, that's crazy. This is the entire deal cycle of start to finish. The beginning, right? If you look back all the way at the beginning, it was how you build a list, right? Data. What lists are you going to go after? And then it starts from there and it kind of builds on, hey, how you're going to market to them. Hey, what are you going to say when you have them on the phone? Hey, how do you actually frame the deal? How do you lock up the deal? What kind of docs do you have for the deal, right? What is your exit plan going to be? And then this one is actually the dispo side of it. Dispo is short for disposition. If you're newer to the business, that is where money actually gets made. Okay. So disposition is where you turn that piece of paper, right? Well, first of all, the prospect in your list to the person on the phone list that you're going to call, to the dialer, to the person on the phone that's now actually a human, or the persons, to the negotiating, to the documents. And then you take that piece of paper, right? And now we're actually going to turn it into dollars, which is the most important thing, right? Is what we're all here for. We are not the Salvation Army. We're here to make money, right? We're here to help sellers, but we're also here to convert and actually make money. So I'm going to show you one very, very cool. I'm going to go through a lot of stuff today, a lot of different disposition strategies and stuff like that. But I'm going to highlight one specific deal. It was just done last week. So again, you guys know we only do fresh deals. We don't do this. Hey, look at what I did in 2023 and it was awesome back then. We do fresh deals, real JVs, real partners, real people in the community. We share addresses, right? Tonight we even have some HUDs for you, all that kind of stuff. So you can see the real nitty gritty, the numbers, the profit, everything. And we're gonna highlight a deal that the gentleman made $61,000. I couldn't be happier for him because he honestly followed the process. He's been wholesaling for about 4 years, so he wasn't new. However, he was new to this and the reverse flip side, and really just knocking on a door, going after a list that nobody was going after, which was an auction list, and getting the deal, right? It's very, very simple. He closed, relisted it on the MLS, and he made $61,000 in, I think it was 61 days, funny enough. Yeah, it was 61 days because I told him, I was like, that's like $1,000 a day, right? So, my goal for you today is for you to learn how to dispo and exit your deals for maximum profit. Okay. That is it. That is very, very simple. We are here today to focus on, okay, now I've done all this body of work leading up until this point. I've gone through all these steps. Now I have this property. I have this house, this asset. How am I going to make sure that I maximize the amount of money after all this trouble that we're going to make? Okay. And how do you make sure that you don't leave money on the table? Okay. Don't worry, guys. There's always another deal, right? But we want to make sure that we do not leave any money on the table and that we leave no stone unturned because you already have control of it. So there's no rush. All right. So I'm going to give you a real deal case study, the $61,000, a student in our community. And then by the end of that, you're going to have clarity on what's been missing to implement what I'm going to share with you today. Okay. So what are we going to be covering today? We're going to be covering why disposition is important, all right? Why does it matter? Preparing the property for dispo. Now, this one's very important. When I say preparing the property for dispo, for example, I have one right now that's getting ready to get listed tomorrow on the MLS where we cleaned it up, literally send a cleaning crew over there, put Febreze and Fabuloso and all that stuff because I love Fabuloso, the lavender one. And if you're Cuban, you know what's up. We pressure cleaned the outside. We took some fresh pictures, very good pictures, right? Pictures make thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. And then that's preparing the property for the dispo, for the listing, right? See a lot of guys and girls, go through all this trouble, go through all this hassle. They finally get the property or they get possession of the property and then they skimp out on cleaning it out. They skimp out on, trashing it out, taking all the crap that was inside, right, out. They skimp out on the pictures. They skimp out on turning on the power or turning on the water so inspections are easy. They skimp out on pressure cleaning it, right? Maybe cleaning out the driveway, removing the abandoned car on the front. Guys, I get it, right? Yes. Hey, Will, I thought we were supposed to sell these things as is. You are, but those little teeny tiny details, cleaning out a house and pressure cleaning a house is going to make me an extra $20,000, right? Selling it with a squatter versus selling it without a squatter is going to make me an extra $20,000. And it only cost me 3 grand to get the squatter out, just to use an example. Marketing your deal for sale. How are you going to market your deal for sale? Now, what does that mean? Well, Will, how many ways are there to market a deal for sale? Well, off market or on market, right? Are you going to leverage the MLS, which you should, by the way, always, or are you just going to list it off market or, blast it out off market or use JV partners? There's no right or wrong. There's certainly one way that's going to make you a lot more money and bring you a lot more attention, which is the MLS, and the other one isn't, right? Multiple exit strategies. What does that mean? Well, are you going to keep the house? Are you going to keep it as a subject too? Now, I know we acquired the house largely using the reverse flip method, right? Taking the deed, getting the POA, the assignment of interest and all that stuff. That is the control. But what are we going to do with it at the end? Maybe it has a really, really low rate. Maybe it has a 3.5% interest rate. Maybe you can keep it that way, right? Maybe now you got your first cash flowing asset. Or to add to your portfolio, maybe you want to flip it, meaning what we're about to show you right now. Hey, we're just going to take it down. We're going to relist it, flip it as is. Maybe you want to fix and flip it. Why? I have no idea, but God bless you. Maybe you want to renovate the entire thing, right? Go full HGTV, go Mac Daddy, pull the full retail value. Maybe that's what you want to do, okay? And then the last one is going to be the real deal case study. This one is the most important one because it's how I'm actually going to tie in all the real case study here, and I'm going to tie in the exact scenarios, right? Every deal is a little different, and I'm going to walk you through step by step. Before we do that, if you are new here and you don't know, who I am, just a high level overview. I've been doing this since 2017, over 800 transactions since then, probably closer to 900 now, but profited over $15 million. That's not gross. That's not, hey, this is how much value of real estate I've moved. No, this is profit from assignment and flips and, of course, RF deals and stuff like that. And right now, I'm on a mission to build the #1 community in reverse flip for investors across the country. That is it, right? Curative title. That's what we're talking about. All the deals that everybody has decided to ignore for a very, very long time. Basically, my entire career, all I've ever seen are people ignore these deals until I really started to take it, upon myself to do these kinds of deals. So that's why I don't show you these stats, by the way, to impress you. I show them to impress upon you why it gives me the credibility to speak to you and how many mistakes I've made in 800 plus transactions since 2017, so you don't make them, right? Now, this is why disposition matters. So the advantage and the exit, okay? #1, you own the deed. You guys have heard me say this till I'm blue in the face. You own the deed, you own the deed, you own the deed. That gives you control. #2, you control the when, the how, and the why, and the who to sell it to. Okay, very, very important. 3, there's no seller that's going to back out on you. There's no cash buyer slipping your deal or anything like that or going behind your back. Why? Because you own the deed. Like, for example, the properties that we're talking about right now, both the one that I gave you the example on a squatter, I already own it. I will take you to the property appraiser. It says my land trust name on it. Like, ownership is already mine. I don't have to be like, oh man, well, don't blast the address. Can you put X's on the first 4 digits of the address? I don't want anybody to know. Dude, I don't live in that fairy tale world where you got to hide from people, right? So we already own it. That is a sense of freedom in and of itself, by the way. You set the price. You choose the exit. You call the shots. Isn't that how life is supposed to be? I could tell you after investing for a very long time, 9 years now, crazy to think how fast that's gone. The #1 thing I always wanted to do was control my destiny. I think that's why we all got into entrepreneurship, if I'm being honest with you, right? We all got into entrepreneurship in one form or another. The vehicle we're using for it is real estate. But the reason why we did it is because we got sick and tired of following others' directions, right? Of not calling our own shots. So why wouldn't you want to do it on your own deal? And of course, unlike traditional wholesaling where you're limited to assigning the contract, the deed gives you ownership so you have flexibility to do whatever you want. And again, I don't hate on wholesaling. I love wholesaling. I still wholesale deals here and there. However, when they come to me, guys, it is such a freeing feeling, okay? When you own the deed to a property and you do it this way, okay? So here's the core mindset that we need to talk about. #1, The deals are not found, they're created. Okay. A lot of our deals, it does happen, right? It is rare, but it does happen where you just speak to a seller and it's like right place, right time, boom, you move right along, not a problem, right? Most of them, though, are created. We are deal architects, if you will, deal alchemy, if you will. Disposition is where that creation pays off. Disposition is where you actually realize the money. Okay. You made money when you acquired the deed at a discount. There's no doubt about it. I want to be very, very clear on this point because this one's very important. Do not misunderstand what I'm saying. Oh, Will said you make your money on the dispo. No, 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 no. You make your money on the buy. You bought a good deal. You got a good value. You got a big problem that you're solving and you got a massive discount. You already made your money on the buy. Now, the money's going to hit your account in the disposition side. There's a difference, okay? Disposition is where you collect the money. It's a big difference. The goal is to maximize profits by choosing the right exit on every single deal. Now, let's get into preparing the property for disposition. All right? We clear the title first. Now, that's slang in our industry for curing the title, or you guys are probably hearing this word more and more and more online and stuff like that, because I know I certainly am. Curating title, curative title, right? What does that mean? That means that you work with your title company or your title attorney to run a thorough title search and all that stuff, how to resolve all the liens, judgments, encumbrances, right, before marketing the property. Now, we have already taught you, and if you've been following the series, and what we teach you inside of RF is how to do pre-deal underwriting, which means, hey, you know how to look for all this stuff that the title company is going to give you anyway, ahead of time. Why would you want to know that? Well, I want to know that so I can get ahead of the curve, right? And I don't have any surprises, right? Wholesalers get filled with surprises all the time. They tie up a property, they're like, yeah, we're going to make 40 grand here. Boom, they get hit with a bunch of water balloons of just dirty title, liens, violations, this and that, because they waited and they relied on a title company to give them that. Here, we give you the power to do that, and we show you the method of doing that. 2, we're going to negotiate with all the lien holders. Not always. Sometimes it's better to leave sleeping dogs lie. Sometimes there's liens that, hey, you know what, man? The juice isn't worth the squeeze. Why don't we just sell it with the liens and the violations? If you could get a good enough price, go for it. And I will always back that, by the way, because the headache is usually just not worth it, right? And the time. It's not so much the money, it's the time. It's like, oh man, to negotiate this lien and violation, it's probably going to take me another 3-4 months. Sell it at a discount. Keep it moving, right? Do not be married to a deal, all right? Get lien releases filed and confirmed. That is part of the curative title process. And of course, a good title company, a good title attorney will help you with that, all right? Resolve any remaining legal issues. Probate complications, partitions, we've spoken about those too, right? Homestead penalties, that's where people have been claiming homestead on a property when it's not their homestead, so now they owe taxes on the property and penalties on top of that. Those are really good. We got a couple of those deals going on. And then you handle those before listing. Now, again, let me be very, very clear. Probate and partition complications are title issues. Homestead penalties are not really, they are a title issue, but that's more of a monetary issue. You can sell that deal with a homestead penalty and the end buyer just pays off the homestead penalty. You can't sell that deal with an open probate where you can't provide legal title transfer from the heirs to you, to the buyer. Make sense? Using your limited power of attorney, or now we use something called the assignment of rights, okay? The assignment of interests. It's better, it's less liability in my opinion. But of course, I'm not an attorney, and I urge you to speak to an attorney because I'm not giving any legal advice. That's my disclaimer, okay? And of course, lien holders and the city on the seller's behalf. You negotiate with banks. That's what you use this POA for, or this assignment of interest for, okay? It allows you to act on behalf of the seller or sellers, okay? And we are going to ensure that the deed is properly recorded with the county recorder's office or the clerk of courts, right? That's very, very important because that recording is what gives you the right to say, I am the owner, okay? Let me give you guys a fun fact and maybe just make your brain work a little bit here. Let's say I have a deed, right? And I have the deed in my physical possession. I just pretend that this is a deed, Okay. And the deed is from John Smith, the previous owner, to, Reverse Flip LLC, right? And I have the deed, and the deed is sitting here on my desk. Am I the legal owner of the property? Yes or no? Let's see if anybody comes in on the chat on that. Am I the legal owner on the property? Yes or no? Am I the owner of that property? Simple question. You guys are going to hit me with a yes or no? Yes. 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 No. Somebody said no. Okay. Yes. Great. Keep coming. Let's go. If you recorded it. There we go. Yes. Okay, cool. So the answer is you're both right. Legally speaking, I am the owner because I have a deed in my possession. However, if I do not record that deed with the clerk of courts, nobody knows about it. I will not appear on a title transfer. I will not appear on a title search or a title commitment or a TC. And if anybody else was maybe speaking to another heir or another seller or the same seller, they go run a title transfer and my deed's not recorded, it's as good as you're not even the owner. Okay. So I've even ran into heirs that say, oh yeah, my dad gave me a deed before he passed away 3 years ago. And I said, well, did you record it? And they're like, no, I haven't recorded it yet. Well, it's too late now. The gentleman's deceased, right? So do you understand the difference? Now, it's great that you have it in your physical possession, but you want to record that deed in order to make the world aware that you are the owner now. Does that make sense, guys? So you were both right. However, obviously recording it is what gives the legal right to do so. And it's a matter of timing too, right? If you are the legal owner and then somebody passes away, it doesn't matter. You don't have to do a probate anymore because you were the legal owner before they were deceased. Okay. And ask me how I know that happens. Running your numbers. This is the part where, you should have ran your numbers at the beginning, by the way, of this process, like with the acquisition and all that stuff. But this is really the part where you're going to run your numbers pretty strict. And now you're actually going to see like, okay, cool. It's been 2 months, been 3 months, been a month, it's been 4 months, whatever it is, since we got this deal. Now we're all ready. We're all polished. We're ready to go. I'm going to list this thing. What are the comps saying today? Always best practice to rerun the comps all over again and really see what's going on because a lot of things change, man. A month goes by, a week goes by, new properties get listed, new properties come down, new closings happen every day, right? You want to know what's actually going on today. Why? Because comps might have gone up or comps might have gone down or it's a good time to listen, it's a bad time to listen, right? Are you one or the other? And then, of course, you also want to make sure like, hey, I'm about to list this. Let's just say for the sake of argument, you're like, hey, I'm about to list this at $300,000. Well, then you go check the comps and there's a bunch of other things listed underneath $300,000 that are very comparable to yours. Do you want to still list it at $300,000? No. The answer for me would be absolutely not. I want to undercut the market every single time. Even though I may want a higher price, which I'll probably get, and we'll speak to that in a little bit. I want to push the market up. But what I want to do is come in low enough where I take all the eyeballs off of everyone else's property and I bring them to me. The easiest, fastest way that I know how to do that is by dropping price and being beneath them because people are going to do searches and people have auto searches going on all the time and they're going to find your property and they're going to say, whoa, 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 hold up. What is this thing over here on 123 Main Street? Why is it at at 280 and everybody else is 300? Let me go make an offer over there. Let me go check out what's going on over there. So now I got attention, which is the number one rule of sales and marketing as a whole, right? Get people's attention. What's the as is value? That is your value without repairs. Okay. That means, hey, I'm going to sell it the way it is, as is, where is, how is. I don't want to do a thing to it. Right. Now, keep in mind, cleaning and stuff like that, I don't really consider that doing anything to it. I'm talking about renovations. What is the ARV? What's the after repair value? Put yourself in your buyer's shoes, right? Typically, we are transacting and we are selling to buyers that are cash buyers. Okay, rehab buyers, rental buyers. That's what we're doing. So you got to put yourself in their shoes and say, okay, if this dude buys it from me, let's say at 300, right? And he puts 50 grand into it, which is what I think it needs in repairs. He's going to be able to sell this thing for 440, 430. Like that's a realistic explanation and that's a realistic value, right? And that's what your buyer is going to be looking for. Somewhere between 430, 440, 450 so that he can net maybe 50 to 60 grand. That's what they're going to be looking for, right? Now, everybody's going to be like, oh, but it doesn't need 50, it needs 60, it needs 40. Let everybody else run their numbers. You just follow the market. What are their costs to clear title and resolve issues? Now, we've talked about this at length, right? What do I want to deal with and what don't I want to deal with? And what I mean by that is, do I really, going back to my example, do I really want to deal with this lien in violation? Or should I just sell it as is? A lot of the times, it's going to be the latter. It's going to be the second answer. And it's going to be like, listen, just sell it as is, right? What else is clouding the title? Now, this is where you get your actual lien search, your title search, right? From your title company or your title attorney. And now you're going to see everything. Hey, so here's the up-to-date taxes. Here's the up-to-date liens. Here's the up-to-date violations. Here's the up-to-date judgments on it, right? What can I start to clear off, right? Boom, 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 right? So you 305 MIA. I appreciate that. Yes, I am. It's 305 day today. As a matter of fact, 305 day today. It's a good day. Calculate your total basis versus your expected sale price to confirm profit margin. Okay? Now, what does that mean? Hey, we're going to sell this for 300 and I paid the seller, again, arbitrary example. I paid the seller 10K for the deed and there's a mortgage on it for 220. So I'm all into this deal and then there's some closing costs for 5K, let's say. So I'm all into this deal for 235 and I sell it at 300. What do I make? $65,000. That is what I make. 305 meetup. Yeah. That's how you determine what you're actually making, guys. Okay? I see a lot of people come through and they're like, "Oh yeah, I made 40 grand on that deal." I'm like, "You did?" They're like, "Well, not really, because the marketing and the cost for the deal is like 5 grand, and then I did this to the deal, and then the closing costs, and there was about 10 grand total." So I was like, "All right, so you made 30, right?" So be very careful when you say I made, right? Made, there's a difference between gross profit and net profit. I only care about the net profit. I don't care about gross profit, because gross profit is vanity, net profit is sanity. All right, write that one down. Determine the best exit strategy based on the spread. This one is very, very important. Again, you need to know where you are in your journey. Meaning everybody on this call right now, everybody, okay, is in a different stage of their career. Some of you may have not even started yet. You haven't even gotten your first deal. You haven't even spoken to your first seller yet. Great, welcome. Some of you are just getting started. Some of you may have done a few deals. Some of you have done a lot of deals. Some of you have rentals already, right? So depending on where you're at and what your business needs are, that being the key two words, business needs, that's where you determine what you want to do with the deal. Do I want to sell it for cash? Do I have the means, and do I want to fix and flip it and take it all the way? Hey, do I want to keep this, and can I keep this as a rental? Do I need it for taxes? Because I'm a high income earner and I need to keep a rental and I need to depreciate it. Or maybe I need to do a cost segregation. Again, talk to an accountant. I'm not giving any financial advice, but I do that all the time, right? I do different things. And I'm always evaluating where I'm at, because at different stages of my career, it's been very, very different, right? Today, I might keep something. Most of the time, I might keep something because I'm like, dude, I need the tax benefit. I need the tax benefit because I make a lot of money over here. I need the tax benefit because I'm not paying Uncle Sam. I don't know if you have seen where the money goes for Uncle Sam, but yeah, I ain't paying taxes for it. You know what I mean? So guys, that's where you determine your best exit. Okay. As is, or ARV, those kinds of things. And then you make the decision and say, look, you know what, man? I'm newer to the business. I really need the money right now. I'm going to go make the 50 G's. I'm going to live off of a piece of that 50 G's. I'm going to reinvest the rest into the business. I'm going to keep doing what I did, and I'm going to stack up some capital. Okay. Maybe you're in a position where you're like, hey, you know what? I really don't need the cash. I don't need the money, but I want another rental. This is a really good rental. It's going to cash flow me $1,000 a month. I'm going to get the tax appreciation every single year. I really don't need the money. And it has 150 grand in equity, which is going to grow over time. Let me keep it there. Let it be like another little addition to my portfolio, okay? Only you can answer that, all right? Now, I'm assuming the majority of you are in the first bucket where you're either brand new or you're just getting started off, and that's fine. Then you need to make money. You need to actually make money. Not like, oh, I see too many guys and girls that are newer to the business. They're like, yeah, I just want to start keeping rentals. I'm like, but do you have an income somewhere else? No, this is my only thing. I'm like, do you have money in the bank? No, I don't. I'm like, then you have no business keeping rentals. No. Like, don't let anybody sell you that pipe dream of like, oh yeah, you should keep rentals with nothing and blah 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 and cash flow $250 a month. Please, guys, come on. Be a grown up. You don't need that. You need money. You need money. You need to stack up some capital. Okay. Now we're gonna talk about marketing your deals for sale. All right. Crafting the deal package. Now, I'm gonna give you an example of what a good description should be, okay, on a property that I want to sell. Okay, so let me read something to you out loud. So you see here it says property address, photos, conditions, details. Don't cheap out. It's very important. Photos. Don't go out there and take a couple of photos with your iPhone, please, for the love of God. Come on, man. Unless the house is a complete trash out with, obviously with a hoarder, freaking packed house. Obviously, don't send the photographer to that. But clean it out. You do all that stuff, please, for the love of God. Take some good pictures. A picture's worth 1,000 words, and it really is. And in this business, it's worth $10,000. Okay. So here's a description. Okay. This is what this should sound like in terms of like a description, whether you're using it on an email blast or whether you're using it on a listing. Legal 3-bed, 2-bath with over 1,700 square feet. Vacant property, clean title, no liens, no violations, selling as is for cash only, zero inspection period. This is a light rehab with serious upside for an investor who moves fast. Creating urgency. CTA, call to action. No drama, no complications, just buy it, close quick, and make fast profit. Perfect for a fix and flipper who doesn't want a heavy renovation project. Do you see that right there? I just described my perfect avatar within that description. Too many guys give way too much information and they try to sell the property with the listing description alone. They're like, oh, it's a 3-2 with an oversized 16,000 square foot lot, zoned RS2, coming in at blah, 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 many beds and baths, and the year of the AC is 2021, and the roof was done in 2006, so you're going to have to do it. And blah, 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 blah. They give these giant descriptions. It's like, oh my God, school zone, A plus, B minus, whatever. No, dude, nobody gives a shit about that, especially in this business. My guys want to know, hey, am I buying this for a good price? Is it fast? Can I close today? Is it easy? Is it going to be less stressful for me? And can I do it quickly? Yes. And will I make a profit? Yes, you will. Boom, done. Come to me. It's vacant, got clean title, it's got no liens, no violations, guys. That's it. That, by the way, that is a fix and flipper's dream, by the way. Like a fix and flipper's dream. And then I see guys do the opposite too, where they put in all the negative shit into their description. And they say, oh, property has multiple liens and violations, over $200,000 in liens. Don't bother with low ball offers. Don't call, blah, blah, blah. Basically saying like, don't even bother. Why are you even reading this, right? Guys, don't give too much either, right? The purpose of the description, whether it's on a cash buyers list, blast, or on the MLS, guys, again, this is marketing. What you're doing is trying to incite people to call in so you can vet them, talk to them, right? And sell the damn deal. If you make it so hard for people to even pick, some people just make it too hard for people to pick up the phone. All right. The title status, clean. It is clean. We cleaned up the title. That's what you're buying, baby. That's why you're paying a premium. Repair estimates, if applicable. I go two ways on this. Some people, buyers back in the day, until this day, they still ask, they're like, what kind of repair estimates do you have? I'm like, I don't. That's not my job. That's your job, right? Because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. I might say, hey, the renovation on this property is $40K. And the guy might be like, it's like 60, bro. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Or on the opposite, hey, the renovation for this is 40K. It's like, this guy's crazy, bro. It's 25 grand. Right? So again, I do not put myself in that scenario. I do not put myself in the buyer's shoes. I also don't give out ARVs and comps and all that stuff. No, I don't give that stuff. ARV 550, blah, blah, blah. No. You know why? Because I also don't want to shoot myself in the foot. Because maybe a buyer sees it and says, yeah, I think the ARV is 580. I'm going to pay more for this deal. But if I say 550, I just shot myself in the foot, right? Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Let the market do the hard work, guys, okay? Asking price and terms you'll accept. Cash, financing, assignment. It's right there. It says as is for cash only, zero inspection period. What am I doing there? I'm weeding out most of the idiots that are going to bother me and going to waste my time. Okay. As is cash only, zero inspection period. It's also assumed that hard money, obviously. Hard money is treated the same as cash. That's a conversation for another time. Make sure you vet the people who are using the hard money because most of these lenders are, wow, idiots. With that said, the last piece here is the most important. Make it easy for a buyer to say yes. Write that down. Make it easy for a buyer to say yes. We're talking about dispo, right? But I'm gonna change up the terms here a little bit. That is identically important on the acquisition side with the seller. Make it easy, substitute the word buyer with seller. Make it easy for a seller to say yes to working with you. That is very important. The less friction you have, the more money you make. Write that down. The less friction I create, the more money I make. Guys, get that? Cool. Let's move on. Marketing channels. This is one of my favorites. Listing it on the MLS is by far my favorite. By far. By far, by far, by far, by far. Listen, there's been a lot of apps, and there's Investor Lift, and there's Investor Twist, and there's Investor This, and all this stuff. Listen, that's great. And I'm not hating on anybody. The MLS is still undefeated. Listen to me. The MLS is still undefeated. And if you already have the deed using the RF method, why would you not want to list the property? You already own it. You don't have to worry about getting circumvented. You don't have to worry about your buyer or your seller signing with somebody else. You control it. Especially true if it's vacant, like this one. Why? I have it on lockbox, no sellers in the house, there's no heirs in the house is vacant. Again, that is a wholesaler's dream, a vacant property on a lockbox. By the way, you notice I didn't say in my description, I put vacant, but I didn't put vacant on a lockbox because you don't want people to pop your lockbox. Ask me how I know. Email blast to your buyers list if you have a buyers list. Now, this is one of the most common things with newer people. They're like, oh man, well, how do I build a buyers list? I need to build my buyers list first, and then I'll go after the sellers. Stop it. I never had a buyers list till years into this business. You know what I did have though? I had a sellers list, baby, and I had deals that came through that. And a great mentor of mine once told me a very long time ago, and I'll impart the wisdom on you. If you have a good deal, the buyers will appear. Okay, very, 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 very important. Guys, I'm dropping absolute gems for you tonight. This is like a DISPO masterclass. This one session will make you so much money in your career. And I actually pride myself. DISPO is my shit. I love it. I used to love doing it in the business. It was my favorite part of the business. And dare I say, it was probably one of the parts that I got the best at, right? Social media posts, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Again, if you have a following like me nowadays, that I have a little bit of a following, infamous, not famous yet, but nonetheless, I use social media. If you follow me today on Instagram, I posted about this same property that I'm telling you about. I leverage my social media. I got like 10 DMs on that property within an hour. Like, hey, what's the asking? Hey, how can I get in? Hey, yeah, I'm interested. Da, da, da. Because it first of all, it creates good content for me. Number two, it lets people know that I'm still actively doing deals, right? So I'm not out here, on a beach somewhere, because I actually am. Number three, it's leveraging my eyeballs that I have. Now, I'm still going to list this thing on the MLS, but I can't tell you how many times some crazy guy comes through Instagram and says, yo, I'll give you 420 right now. I'm like, whoa, hold up a second. Maybe I'll take it, right? You never know. Or it also connects me, looking further, it also connects you to people on another deal, right? They might bring you something else. It might spark up a conversation and be like, look, man, you know what? This one isn't for me, but I got another one. Maybe you take a look at it. Boom. Now we're off to doing a JV. Maybe now we make some money together, right? Local REI groups and forums. Guys, look, these are cool. I'm a little bit impartial to them unless those communities are run really, really well. Not just like a giant Facebook group with 100,000 people in there, man. You're going to get spammed. Somebody's probably going to go after your deal. I promise you that. So if you have the deed, you should be fine. But nonetheless, it's a little bit less informed or a little bit less personal. Just be very weary of that. Real estate listing platforms, again, it's the same thing, right? When you push to the MLS, And by the way, when I list on the MLS, I use a flat fee listing service. So I use a company called Baycom. They're in multiple states. I think it costs 250 bucks to list it, and it pushes it out to Zillow, it pushes it out to Redfin, it pushes it out to every single major platform known to man. All right, and direct outreach to known active buyers in your market, guys. That's very, very simple. Look up properties within a half-mile radius of your subject property. Look up anybody who's closed in the last year with an LLC. Find their name, skip trace them, just like you would a seller. Find their name on Sunbiz or your corporate registry, depending on what state you're in. Call them, say, hey, John, this is Will. Hey, Will, what can I do for you? Hey, John, I saw that you own 123 Main Street. Yeah, I do. I don't want to sell it. Nope, you're right. You don't want to sell it, and I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell you it. I don't want to buy it. No. But I do own 134 Main Street, and I was interested in knowing if you wanted to buy that before I make my next call. Oh, yeah, what are you asking for? Oh, yeah, it's a great question, John. Let me just tell you. Here you go. Now, hey, can I add you to my list? You know, I get properties in this area fairly often. You know, I don't want to spam you or anything like that. But if something does come up, you know, you're telling me you buy, right? Yeah, sure, man. Add me to your list. Here's my email, blah, blah, blah. Okay, next. Boom. Keep it moving. You guys get that? It's very simple, guys. This is very, very simple strategies. So my six-figure deal pricing strategy, okay? Know your floor means your minimum acceptance point, which means the least amount you're willing to profit, okay? 2, start low on the MLS. Now, this one is key, guys. If you're going to write anything down tonight, write this down. This property, for example, this is my strategy to all properties I disposition. It has made me millions of dollars. Pay attention. Remember what I was telling you about attracting eyeballs? Right. Here's what I do. Do not be the guy that lists everything at the price that they want to get for it. Don't be that guy. I know that's counterintuitive. Will, but if I could get 420, I should list for like 419, right? No, you shouldn't. You should list it for 399. You should list it in that example for 399. I'm going to tell you why. Because the searches are going to go up in $50,000 increments. Most people search by $50,000 or $100,000 increments. So if somebody's searching for 399, 999, you're not even going to appear at 419. Rule number 1. Rule number 2. I told you guys you want to create a bidding war, right? You see it on the third one there. You want to create a buyer frenzy. How do you do that? Price. Takes away all the eyeballs from everybody else, and it puts the eyeballs on your property. And guess what, guys? You can always go up, and I always sell my properties above ask. So I guarantee you this. I'm going to list this thing. That's exactly what I'm going to list it for. 399, 999. My phone is going to melt, right? And we're creating content around it, so I'm going to record all the calls. My phone's going to melt, and I'm going to push everybody up to that 420 mark, 415, 420 mark. Why? Because they know, holy shit, this thing is priced right. This thing is going to fly. And it happens every single time. Everybody's always chasing a bigger profit or right away. I'm chasing the bigger profit, but I'm letting the buyer take themselves there. Does that make sense? Cool. So start a bidding war. I just told you that. All right. And here's another thing, another gold nugget here for you. If you have a vacant property, especially if you own the deed, which is exactly like this example right here, Marcelo's as well, right? The example I'm going to show you. Guys, don't ever schedule a showing with just one person, especially if your sellers aren't in the house. That is one of the silliest things I've ever seen. You do this and you want to make a lot of money. This is what you're going to do. You schedule one showing, one time, take it or leave it, and funnel all your buyers at the same exact time. What is that going to do? This is what it's going to do. I want you to put yourself in the buyer's situation, right? In their shoes. They're going to show up to your property. They're going to be parked outside on the street. And I want you to picture it for me, right? They're parked in their car in the street waiting for the showing. They showed up early, let's say. Showing was at 1 p.m. They showed up at 12:50. They're going to start to notice, I know that guy. I know that guy. Hey, what's that guy doing here? Is that another car? Holy shit, how many cars are there here? Right? Now that feeling of like, oh shit, urgency. Oh my God. How many freaking, I know that guy. He's going to pay more than me. God damn it. That guy's here. Fuck. I thought I was the only one that knew about this house. God damn it. Now all my competition's here. So by the time that your runner or you, right? I used to do it back in the day, shows up to the house and goes, let's go inside. Boom. And you let everybody in. Dude, it's like herding cattle. Like 20 guys, all flowing through the property, and they're all like looking, and they're all doing the same thing with their little clipboard, and they're like, oh shit. And like clockwork, 10 of them are gonna run outside and they're gonna call, where do I need to be on this house? What do you want? I know it's 399. What do you want? I know you're gonna go over. What do you want? Hey man, listen, my phone's blowing up right now. Like, do you have an offer or what? Well, listen, would you take 410? Maybe, but I got to be honest with you. This other guy just offered me 412, so I'm not really sure. This other guy offered me 415. Hey, listen, I got to go, but let me call you back, Steve. Thank you. Sorry. Boom. Next. Call. Same thing. Repeat, 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 repeat. By the end of it, I'll know, are you willing to go 0 to inspect? Yeah, I am. Hey, 10K non-refundable with my attorney? Yes, I am. Can you close in 2 weeks? No, I can't close in 3 weeks. I can close in 3 weeks. I can close in, 4 weeks. Hey, no, I need you to close in 2 weeks. Nah, man, that's not something I can do. I'm sorry, brother. I got to go. Boom. Next. Da, 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 da. And by the time that I push, even if I had one offer, I would still push everybody else imaginarily against themselves. And I will end up at that 420, no questions asked. Now, here's your dispo menu. Selling as is to a cash buyer. This is the fastest and most common exit in reverse flip deals. Wholesaling as well, right? Once title issues are resolved, the property becomes attractive. Boom, to cash buyers who want a clean, discounted deal. Remember, they do not want to do the work that you have done to clean up this property. They don't want to do the probates. They don't want to deal with the sellers. They don't want to deal with the squatter. They don't want to deal with the BS. You do. Therefore, you get to charge a premium. They know this, and they will pay a premium for a clean property to flip. Okay? No rehab needed. You solve the problem, not the property. Again, you guys are thinking that you're in the one business, but in reality, you're in the other business. Yes, you're in the real estate business, but you're really in the problem business. You solve the problem. Let the property solving go to the fix and flipper or the buy and holder. Let them do that. Oh man, I got to put 60 grand into it. You damn right you do, buddy. Because I put like 20 grand into the legal work in this thing. But I fixed that for you, and you can fix this house for the next buyer. That's how this business works. And that's also the beauty of this business, guys. There's so much money to be made per transaction that it's crazy. All right. Wholesale the deed to another investor. You can assign or sell the deed to a rehabber, landlord, buy and holder. You are selling from a position of ownership, by the way, not a flimsy contract. Very, very different. When a buyer calls me up and he's like, yeah, man, but you got to close, right? You know how good of a feeling it is when you can tell a buyer, hey, brother, go check the property appraiser. I already own it. I don't need to close. I'm in no rush. Oh, what do you mean? I already own it. I already closed. Dude, that took away all the wind in their sails. They're like, oh, shit. This isn't just some little kid who's trying to wholesale this deal. Not me. Not me. The next guy maybe, but not me. No. Papi, I take my time. I'm good, right? You're selling from a point of ownership. Higher assignment fees always happen because a buyer trusts the deed and because a buyer trusts what you're saying and that they don't have no leverage over you. What you want a buyer to feel like is that they're getting a great deal, but also, remember, these guys are sharks. Make no mistake about it, okay? You want them to feel like they have no leverage over you, which they shouldn't have leverage over you. Because when leverage happens for them, they smell blood in the water. They're like, ooh, we could get a discount here. Now, I paid my dues when I was very early on in this business, but guys, you don't want to give anything away. Cash out refi. Now, we're just going to start going through some strategies so I can get to the case study. Refinancing the property after clearing out the title and pull out cash from the equity that you created. This is awesome. Again, this is a more advanced exit strategy for the record. I do not advise this for somebody who's brand new and you probably won't have the capability to do it. But this is known as the rich man's bonus. Okay, I do a cash out refi on my properties usually every 3 to 5 years. Okay, why is it known as a rich man's bonus? Because the property paid me initially, it's paid me throughout cash flow and tax depreciation. And then every 3 to 5 years, there's enough equity where I can pull out 75% of the ARV. And guess what? It is known as a cash out refi and it is tax free. Why? Because I have not had a sale. It's not a sale. It is a debt object is what I've done. So I've taken out debt. I have not sold this property, so it is tax-free. Again, speak to a CPA, but this is a rich man's bonus. Investor clears out, created 350K in equity within 30 days, or 90 days, excuse me, and pulled out 49 cash out refi, plus keep the property, monthly cash flows, long-term tax benefits, right? Great for building a portfolio and while still getting paid up front, right? It's a non-taxable event. That is exactly right. Hold as a rental. Keep the property and collect monthly cash flow. This one's pretty simple, guys. Again, a little bit more of an advanced strategy. That's not to say that you can't be newer and keep a rental. It happens, right? But I do not advise it because it's a totally different business that you're going to get into with a totally different skill set. And you don't want to get distracted. Keep the main thing the main thing. You're building long-term wealth through appreciation, equity, tax advantages, etc. Ideal for properties in strong rental markets where demand supports the hold strategy. Don't ever buy anything and keep anything saying, oh, well, it doesn't cash flow today, but I'll have, forward appreciation. You better be really right on that. That's all I can say. Okay, so that's why I say it's an advanced strategy. Lease option, rent to own. Honestly, I don't do very many of these. I've done some of them. It's not my bread and butter per se, but basically you collect an option fee up front plus your monthly rent, and you basically sell that to somebody else, kind of like a renter that has an option to buy. Okay. So it's like a tenant, but they take care of anything. You're still the landlord, right? It's a little bit of a hybrid model. It's brilliant. This guy named Ron LeGrand, which is awesome. And, he's been doing this since the 70s. He's taught this for 40 years. And, he's shredded me at masterminds when I've spoken in front of him on hot seats. But he's really right. This is a great strategy. And it works well for properties in retail buyer neighborhoods. Okay. Seller financing, owner finance. You can become the bank. You can sell it on owner finance if you want, or you can buy it on owner finance. You can do that too, right? The OGs of OGs. Yeah, he is the OG, dude. He's like taught everybody in this business. He's like 90. He's up there. Creates a long-term income stream and often commands a higher sale price. Why? Because price and terms, they are getting their terms. You're getting your price. Makes sense. Ideal exit for properties where traditional financing might be difficult for an end buyer, right? This is very, very common, okay? Hybrid creative exits. Combine strategies. You can do refis to recoup costs and lease option. Again, guys, don't get into the weeds. Stay focused. If you're newer, for the majority of you on this call, you want to make money. You want to grab deeds. You want to clean them up. You want to slam them, make profit, keep growing, and keep moving. Once you're in a position of hey, stability and hey, I got some money, I got this, I got some experience, I got resource, boom, then you start to keep, right? Hey, now I need the tax benefit. Yeah, you do, right? Decision framework. I already spoke about this, right? But basically it's, do I need cash fast? Then you sell as is to a cash buyer or wholesaler deal. Strong rental market. Hold as a rental or lease option. It's up to you, right? And can you do it? Big equity spread after curing title. Cash out refi plus hold. Retail buyer neighborhood. List on the MLS or seller finance. Multiple exit paths available. You have leverage. Pick the one with the highest return. No problem. Okay. Now here's the real deal case study. All right. I'm going to give you the address on the HUD here. This is Marcelo. This is the text message from him. My West Little River deal just closed. $61,000 net, left money on the table, but learned a ton, right? My first door knock deal. I was super proud of him, super happy for him. 61K in 61 days is pretty awesome. He is in RF Pro. He paid 25 grand to be inside of RF Pro, and he makes 61 grand on his first deal. Less than 3 months of being in the community. I'd say that's a win, and he more than, he tripled his money almost. And plus, he's got other deals in the pipeline, by the way. So let's go right into it. I told you guys I was going to show you HUDs, right? And I told you guys that I was going to show you real addresses. So if you look through the HUD here, you can see 3630 Northwest right here. It's a little small, but, oh, no, I can't zoom that in. So it's a little small, but right here, boom, where my mouse is, 3630 Northwest 98th Street. The deal is so recent, it might not even have recorded on Property Appraiser yet. But here's your HUD. So he goes out, finds a multiple air situation on an auction list. Really what he did was follow a very simple video that I made, went into it, grabbed an auction list in Miami-Dade County, grabbed compiled the list, literally went and door knocked them, found one of the heirs living in the house, he led him to the other heir, boom, boom, bam. He did a probate. It took less than 30 days because it was fast. It was a summary. Thing was going to auction. He stopped it. He paid the taxes. I think it was like 8 or 9 grand. Buys it for 170. They were going to list it for 280 if I'm not mistaken. And he comes in that's cash from the borrower. He put up the money. He had the money to put, And the cash to seller was 108 minus all the charges and all that stuff. And then you can see the resale side was a net profit, yep, 64,000 and change, and then minus the fees and stuff like that. So he sold it for 285 to the next buyer, right? And here's his cash to close, cash to seller, because remember on the right HUD over here, this is the purchase. This is him as the buyer. This is him as the seller. He actually took this down. He could have done this with private money as well. 224, 2026. He is the seller on this side. The cash to him was 234. So you take 234 minus 170 and you get 64,000 minus some costs and fees and closing stuff. You get $61,000 net. Okay. Expense breakdown. This is exactly what he did. 170 closing costs, 2689, wire fees. I mean, he literally itemized it down. FPL, lawn maintenance, copy of keys, lien settlement difference, boom. Time to profit, $61,404 with 52 cents. Hold time was 24 days. That's from when he closed to when he sold. The other 30 something days were in the probate and when he first got them. Guys, if this is not lightning to you, I don't know. How many other people do you think are making 61 grand in 61 days off of one deal and have 4 or 5 others happening at the same time? By the way, this deal was in Miami-Dade County. This is a very hot market. And my man popped off a $61,000 deal. Okay. So let's recap what we've done here and what we've learned here. Okay. So here is the deal. Why disposition matters. Preparing the property for DISPO, marketing your deal for sale, multiple exit strategies, and of course, the real deal case study that we just walked you through and showed you how much money there is to be made on a simple auction door knock list. And it was really, really fast. Okay. Was this valuable to you so far? All of you should say yes for the love of Christ, because it is. So if you want a JV with us, just like Marcelo did, this is the JV link. A lot of you guys asked me, on the RF deal desk and all that stuff. That is the link to JV with us, to JV with me. And of course, where all this data is found, where are these guys figuring out, hey, where do I pull my list? How do I run my comp? We use the Deal Finder app. We have our own app that we have designed and we put out for you. It's called rfdealfinder.com. Go ahead and sign up for it. Anyone who's using it will tell you that it's freaking awesome and it's all in one. Okay. So again, if you want a JV, here it is right here. And if you guys want to go ahead and use the app, by all means, this is not like a pitch or anything like that, but we get asked about this all the time. Now, does anybody have any questions? Because I will open it up to Q&A for the next 5 minutes or so. No problem. Let's go, guys. Any questions? Any questions? Hop in the chat. If there's no questions, this is going to be an easy one. It was an easy one. Thanks, Willy. You're welcome, bro. Let me look through. Run dies. Oh, I think you meant to say Ron does land trust. Yeah, sometimes he does land trust. Again, I don't know all his business, but yes, sometimes he does. I know because I learned it from him at one point. Is there several ways to vet buyers or just one way? Again, it's just more so having a conversation with them. The easiest way to vet buyers is, hey, this is a 0-day inspection. It's a 10K non-refundable escrow. Is that going to be an issue for you? Boom. It's going to be the easiest one. Second validating question would be like, hey, are you using cash or hard money? No, I'm going to use cash. Okay. You understand that if you do use hard money, we need to know upfront, right? We just don't want to have any delays in our closing. Well, sometimes I use, yep. So why don't you tell me the truth from the start? All right. So yeah, those are the easiest ways. Really, the cash and the non-refundable escrow, you closing with your own attorney too. Like, hey, we only close at our title company. Oh, no, but I want my title company to close it. Okay, well, listen, they can shadow the transaction, but we are going to close with our title company. All right, that's another way. Are short sales still a viable opportunity? Again, there are short sales being done every single day. We are not focusing on them. Just too much time and too hard. Hard money delays. How long is this delay? Again, man, it depends on the hard money lender, but I really wouldn't worry about that. I would focus on getting deals. That's what you guys need to focus on. That's the most important thing. Is Sunbiz in the Florida area? I have to find info on property in Illinois. Sunbiz is a corporate registry, so it's where we look up like LLCs and stuff like that in Florida. I don't know what that is for Illinois or if they even have one. Some states don't have one, like Wyoming, Delaware, Nevada. That's why people, set up LLCs out there so you can't find them. That's where my LLCs are based out of. Can this work in California? Yes, it can, except I am not a big fan of California as a marketplace. Just too much red tape, man. Your state, no offense, is just crazy. These are good questions. Any more? A couple more, a couple more. You're gonna move through. All right. Do I have to have a team like yourself, lawyer, etc.? No. The best way to do it is to partner with us, right? That's what the resources are for. And we do have guys in California in our community as well. Yeah, you don't have to have that team. I didn't have a team when I started, right? I just learned and I grew it out and I JV'd with people, right? I joint ventured with people that had those kinds of relationships and stuff like that. Where's the correct spelling of yeah, so Baycom it's Baycom and I'm pretty sure here's the link. How much is the community? You could talk to my team about that if you're interested. They'll be happy to talk to you about that. We have several different communities. The pro is 25 to 30K, and then the accelerator is 15K, and then there's another form of coaching as well. Is there a replay available? Yeah, I think there's a replay and a recording of it. Which if you just go above the chat, Antonio had posted it above. Here's the link to Baycom. BEYCOME.com. Thanks. No problem. All right, guys. Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love all the questions. I love everybody being here. And this was honestly my favorite topic to talk about, DISPO and all that kind of stuff. So, do you have to be a part of the coaching in order to partner on a deal with you? For right now, yes. That's how we have it set up because we have so many deals coming in and we want to be obviously respectful to the members of our community. But there is a starter community in there. And if you do have a really, really good deal, maybe we can figure something out. Um, if you guys are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, all you guys that are coming on to the RF Deal Desk, I basically do a variation of this for about 30 to 45 minutes every single day, 5 to 6 every weekday, weekends, Saturday only, 12 to 1. Guys, I give out so much content and so much gold nuggets on there. It's incredible. So like and subscribe. It's at Willy Numbers, Willy with a Y, Numbers. Can we partner your students? You can partner with my students, yeah, if you can find them, sure, that's not a problem. Apologies, I don't see the replay above the chat. There's a replay. All right.
And
That
I would just say this, Will, just anybody that wants to be a part of the community, we're very open to making this thing work. I'd say just get on the phone with one of our strategists, and they'll find a way to make it work, especially if you're a person that's willing to roll up their sleeves and get deals done. That's really what we want to do. So, the first things first is I'd say get in the starter community. Second, get the main system that we use to run our business, which is the RF Deal Finder. You need that to run your business. Get in there. And then inside there, there's a link if you want to set up a time with one of our strategists. We'll find a way to make something work if you really are a person that wants to get these deals done. We want to do another 50K deal. We want to do 100K deals. We want to do 200K deals. We just want to make sure we're spending our time with the right people. That's why we want to make sure we work with the people in our community. It's not that we don't want to partner with people who aren't. It's just we found out the people who pay attention. And
that's
so we
right.
want to work with the people who really are saying, "Hey, my time is valuable, your time is valuable. I'm serious. Let's get a deal done." We want to find those people. So that's our main goal, guys.
Correct. The time frames are for YouTube is 5 to 6 and then 12 to 1 on Saturdays, but every weekday is 5 to 6. Guys, I really appreciate this. This has been an amazing series. Love every single one of you guys. Appreciate it. If you need anything, you have all the links. I'll see you on YouTube, and we hope to see some of you inside the community. As always, it's a pleasure, and I appreciate you guys. Have a great night.